Money Talks is brought to you by NuMark Credit Union. Today, teens and money management. I'll introduce you to our guest coming up here in just a couple of moments. We do want to remind you that you can dream bigger during NuMark Credit Union's home improvement sale. For a limited time, enjoy a low intro rate on their interest-only home equity line of credit. Use your savings to make home improvements, finance higher education, take a trip, and more. NuMark Credit Union has options for you, so call them at 815-729-3211 or visit newmarkcu.org to learn more. That's newmarkcu.org, equal housing opportunity lender, NuMark Credit Union, where you are family. Matt Bretz is a sales and service manager for NuMark Credit Union. He joins us this morning on the Turk Furniture Studio line. Good morning, Mr. Bretz.
Good morning, Scott. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you very much for taking time to join us this morning as we tackle the tough topic of teens and money management. And before we get into our conversation with Matt, we want to remind you at the end of the program, we're giving away a $25 Visa gift card, compliments of NuMark Credit Union. You can pick it up in the drive-thru. Here's what we do is we talk to Matt. He gives us all kinds of incredible information. And Matt, your information will be incredible, correct?
It will be, absolutely.
Okay, good. Pressure's on now. We're going to hold you to that standard. One thing I'm going to pick out of all the incredible stuff that Matt tells me about, and I'm going to ask you a question, and the answer will have already been given, and you call up, be the first caller on the Turk Furniture Studio line at 254-7300, and you will win a $25 Visa gift card. All right, sir. Good talking to you. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself. How long have you been doing what you're doing for NuMark?
Sure. Well, I joined NuMark with the recent merger with North Star Credit Union that we did on January 1st, and I'm involved in kind of the sales and training of our frontline staff. Also work in some areas of lending as well, so kind of a little bit of a mix of everything for the credit union.
All right. That's good. Keeps you busy, right?
Absolutely. All the time.
Yeah, you bet it does. All right. So at the credit union specifically now, how are things going?
Things are going pretty good. Springtime is always very busy for us. More people are buying cars and doing home improvement projects, so the demand for lending really gets going this time of year.
That's good. That is really, really good. Safety-wise, you guys are back open. People can come inside. They can go through the drive-thru, or they can still use your really good app as well.
We are, yeah. So we're still taking all the safety precaution measures, but all of our lobbies are fully open. So, we're ready to help our members in any way that they feel comfortable.
Good. All right. So are you finding that you're able to help get people what they need? I mean, you're the service manager. I mean, that is what you do, is you make sure people are happy. How is that going for you?
It's going well. We have a lot of different things that are going on. As I mentioned, lending is really kind of the focus right now. There's a lot of demand for people buying cars and doing those projects. So when we do lend, we approach things in a little bit of a different way than the norm. A lot of times people apply for a loan and a computer looks at a credit score and spits out a decision and an interest rate. But at NuMark, we look at our members' whole financial picture and understand that life challenges can happen, and we do our best to work with our members on helping them out if we can. Sometimes in situations with a loan, if we can't help them right now, we work with them on a plan for how we could help them in the future.
Okay. All right. And, hey, the customer's always right, correct?
Yes, we approach every situation where we can, work through the best approach for both parties.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Okay, so let's talk about teens and managing their money. This economy is particularly hard on them finding summer jobs. A buddy of mine just sent me a text yesterday and said, hey, my kid lost his internship. Do you know of anyone? So it's really, really difficult. What advice do you have for teens right now trying to find something to do?
Well, sometimes the jobs that we have to take early on in life aren't the most glamorous, but they can be the most character building. When I was in high school, I don't think this job really exists too much anymore, but I was a newspaper deliverer, and that meant waking up every day at 5 o'clock in the morning in any kind of weather to walk around my neighborhood tossing papers on the patios. So it wasn't fun at times, but it made me become a morning person and learn a hard work ethic that has stuck with me now.
I got to tell you a quick story, Matt. I had a paper route, and what you should have done, what I did is I got one of my really good friends to help me all the time, and I would pay him pennies on the dollar. He didn't know how much money that I made. He would get a fraction, and he probably delivered the papers more than I did.
Yeah, well, tough to convince someone to wake up pretty early in the morning to do that job.
It was. He got a little bit. He still doesn't know to this day that I ripped him off all those years. And you remember this part of it, too. Well, maybe you did. Remember having to go collect, knocking on the door and saying, you owe me.
I did. I had the stubs. I had to collect. It was that was a challenge, too, asking for people to pay you money and hoping they don't dodge you.
Absolutely. All right, so what do you think the biggest mistake that teens make is when it comes to their finances?
So I think there are a lot of mistakes get made by teens with their finances, but it's actually not their fault. I could say that they may not know how to put money aside for savings or how to keep an accurate record of what's in their checking account, but I think the real problem is that the state of Illinois does not require high school students to take a financial literacy course, so unfortunately they don't know what they don't know.
I don't understand why that's not part of the curriculum. That would seem to me to be one of the 3 or 4 most important things, maybe the most important thing moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, it seems about 20 or so states in the country right now do not require that as part of their high school curriculum. And when you think about it, everybody needs to know how to handle finances, and everybody needs to know how to deal with money. I don't know too many people who are still handling geometry in their adult life, but we know that everybody has to handle money and finances. So it seems like it should be part of the curriculum in all states because we all have to deal with it.
Yeah, you're exactly right about that, no doubt. Okay, so let's talk about what I can do as a parent. I have a 21-year-old and a 19-year-old. I feel pretty good about where they're at. Both of them are like their old man. They're very frugal with their money. They don't like to spend it, which is good. But what can we do as adults in young people's lives to help get them started on the right path?
That's a great question, and I think the biggest key is to talk with kids about money. Money seems to be a topic that is avoided in our culture to talk about, how much money a person might make, or how much they have, or what they do with their money, which creates a lot of myths and confusion for our young people. And it seems to leave it to them to figure out for themselves. So I think it's important for adults to talk about the basics of money early on in life, and then to kind of get into more complex topics with teens as they progress.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be a taboo topic. I mean, it should be something that you can talk about openly. What is one financial tool that all teens should have?
So it's really, I think, the understanding of the concept of budgeting and keeping track of money that comes in as income and what goes out as expenses will help build a foundation that will help teens in the long run. The other financial topic that will be really helpful for teens to learn is to save for emergencies. All of us as adults know that car repairs and home appliances and medical costs and of course, our beloved pets can be very expensive, and we know that they will be incurred at some point. So developing the idea of saving to plan for those costs and those emergencies that will ultimately happen is really crucial.
Yeah, it is crucial, no doubt. Do you have an app at NuMark that could help with some of this planning?
So not directly within our app, but we do have a resource on our website for financial education that kind of provides tutorials and videos for providing a lot of this education. So not something directly through our app, but within our accounts, we encourage our members to create multiple savings accounts and give them nicknames for budgeted purposes like car repairs or home emergencies, and encourage members to feed those savings accounts so when that expense does happen, you can save and use that money for it as opposed to having to put it on a credit card or borrow money to pay for that expense.
Right. Well, speaking of credit cards, you brought up that word, or those words, I should say. Is a credit card a good thing for a teen to have?
So it really depends on the individual. For a teen to get a credit card where their name is listed as the borrower, they have to be at least 18 years old and have a parent or co-signer on the account with them. The teen will also need to learn that they will need to pay off the entire amount of the purchases for that month to avoid paying interest charges on the account. And if your teen isn't quite sure what that means or what interest is or how all that works, it's definitely something that they should learn about before they sign up to get one.
Okay. All right. Let's talk a little credit here for just a couple of moments. I know, you're the manager of sales and service, but you know a lot about credit. And one of the things that I need to do with my children, I don't call them children, my young adults now, is to get them some credit set up where they will have a credit rating, because as of right now, neither one of them have a credit rating, and one of them still got a couple years before he's done with college. The other one has 3, so it's not urgent right now. But if something did happen and they needed to rent a house and dad wasn't around or whatever, or a car and dad wasn't around, if something, heaven forbid, would happen to me, they don't have any credit. So that's something that I think needs to be established. I think 18 or 19 years old. What do you think?
Yeah, it's really important to kind of get that start early on, because typically with credit, it takes a couple of years to have 2 or 3 accounts with established payment history to really build a score and build a history and make lenders comfortable with providing credit to you without a cosigner. So the earlier you can do that and establish some type of history, whether it's a credit card, whether it's some type of secured loan that establishes term payments, all of that happening early on will establish a history that will make it easier for lenders to want to lend money, once they have those needs in the future.
Okay, so no credit cards till they're 18 years old legally, right, in their name?
As a borrower, yes.
Okay,
in some cases, lenders may allow somebody under 18 to be placed as an authorized user on the card, and what that means is the child is able to use the card for purchases, but they're not legally responsible for repayment. But again, you want to be careful and make sure that they understand how to responsibly use that to kind of help build that credit profile.
We're talking today with Matt Bretz, Sales and Service Manager for NuMark Credit Union. Teens and money management is what we are discussing here today. I asked you about the NuMark app a little bit earlier. Let's talk about maybe some of the apps that are out there for saving money that I can turn my teens on, that may be kind of cool, that's something that they'd be used to looking at.
Yeah, so those can be helpful. I think with any of these apps, you always want to determine what kind of information you're giving up to use those applications. Some may ask for a lot of personal information, or there's other apps that are called aggregators where you register your login information on your bank account for those apps to track the spending that you have. You just want to be aware that your data is being stored or used for another system. So it's always best to kind of determine what your comfort level is with providing information to access or use any of those budgeting or money management applications.
Okay. And they are out there, and you can find them very, very easily. Okay. I mentioned this earlier, too. What about car loans? Well, how old do you have to be to get your first car loan?
So to get any form of credit, you have to be at least 18. And like we said earlier, typically you'll need to have a cosigner with a positive established history to help you get that loan. And then as we said before, once you've established 2 or 3 credit accounts and you've got a 2-year payment history, you've kind of built that profile, you've built that score, and maybe that second time that you need a car loan, you won't need to have that cosigner. But you can technically, have an 18-year-old be able to get a car loan, but you'll need that cosigner with some history to sign along with you. Okay.
And Matt, what opportunities are there for teens that they shouldn't miss that you can help them out with?
I think it's really all going back to getting the education. Learning as much as you can at a younger age will help you get set up for the future. I would encourage everyone to check out our website with the financial education section that provides a lot of tools and resources. Talk to your parents, talk to adults. Just really be a sponge and absorb as much information as possible, because, as I said, we all have to deal with finances throughout our whole life. So the more education and resources you can get at an early age will just help set you up for the future.
Makes perfect sense. All right, sir. Well, we're going to spring you. Thanks for your time this morning. We're going to give away a $25 Visa gift card, compliments of NuMark Credit Union. Matt Bretz, Sales and Service Manager. Thank you very much. Nice meeting you, and let's hope to have you back on here real soon, okay?
All right. Take care, Scott.
All right, there you go. Matt Bretz from NuMark Credit Union right here on 1340 WJOL. So what we're going to do now is ask a trivia question. And that trivia question could be worth well, is worth $25 in form of a Visa gift card, compliments of NuMark Credit Union. I'll ask you the question in a moment. I do want to remind you, I told you this at the beginning. Now I'm going to announce this at the end. Dream bigger during NuMark Credit Union's home improvement sale for a limited time. Enjoy low intro rate on their interest-only home equity line of credit. Use your savings to make home improvements, finance higher education, take a trip, and more. NuMark Credit Union has options for you, so call them at 815-729-3211 or visit newmarkcu.org to learn more. That's newmarkcu.org. Equal housing lender, opportunity lender, NuMark Credit Union, where you are family. All right, here's my question. How old do you have to be to get money from a borrower with your name on it? How old? What's the age? He mentioned it, Matt did, probably 5 times. What age do you have to be to get your credit card or that car loan? 815-254-7300. Hi, good morning. You're on WJML Radio. Who's this?
This is Sylvia,
Hello, Sylvia. What is the proper age?
18.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Are you positive?
Yes.
All right, you are the winner, young lady. Well done. Congratulations, Sylvia. I have your first name and your last name on caller ID. So, Sylvia, you are the winner. Go to NuMark. You can just go through the drive-thru. You can go in anytime after noon today, and in the coming days, they'll have it there for however many days it takes you to get over there. And just tell them that you're the winner. Give them your ID, and they'll give you a $25 Visa gift card.
Thank you so much.
All right, Sylvia, thanks for listening. We appreciate it. There she goes. Sylvia is the winner of our trivia question today. 18 years old is what you need to be. Well done, Sylvia. It's going to wrap things up for another edition of Slocum in the Morning. We thank you very much for making us a part of your day. Money Talk brought to you by NuMark Credit Union.